All you have to do is decide what to do with the time you have left. That's it. That one choice, made with intention, made with clarity, shapes everything else that follows. Not the economy, not the news, not what anyone said about you this week. Just that one decision, made again every morning, every Monday, every first day of a new chapter. What are you going to do with the time you have left? There's a concept in Stoic philosophy, one that's been validated by modern psychological research, called the dichotomy of control. The Stoics called it the most important distinction a human being can make. The idea is simple. Everything in your life falls into one of two categories: things within your control and things outside of it. Your opinions, your intentions, your responses, your effort, those are yours. The weather, the market, other people's choices, the timing of things, those are not. Psychologists today call this locus of control. Research consistently shows that people with a strong internal locus of control, meaning they believe their choices matter, experience less anxiety, greater resilience, and more sustained well-being than people who feel at the mercy of external forces. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't about pretending the hard things aren't hard. It's about knowing where your power actually lives and returning to it every single day. So what does it mean to set your intention? It doesn't mean writing a perfect plan. It doesn't mean knowing how every hour of the day will unfold. Setting an intention means deciding, in advance with clarity, what matters most to you in this particular stretch of time. Today, this week, this season of your life. Research in behavioral psychology tells us that implementation intentions, the simple act of deciding when, where, and how you will take action, more than doubles the likelihood that you'll follow through. Not motivation, not willpower, just the decision, made in advance. You set your intention for the day, the week, the month, and then you execute on that. Not perfectly, not without interruption, but with direction. Because here's what happens when you don't set an intention. You don't drift into stillness. You don't pause. You absorb someone else's agenda. You move in the direction of whatever is loudest, most urgent, most demanding of your attention. The news, the notifications, the fear, the noise. Setting an intention is an act of reclamation. It's saying, before the world gets to me today, I know what I am here to do. And then, and this is the part that is harder than it sounds, you release everything else. The stock market, the economy, the diagnosis you're waiting on, what your coworker thinks of you, whether the person you love will choose you back, the timing of the thing you've been praying for. All of it, out of your control, always has been, always will be. In acceptance and commitment therapy, one of the most research-supported approaches in modern psychology, this is called psychological flexibility, the ability to hold what is difficult without fighting it, without running from it, and without letting it be the only thing that defines this moment. The world may be spinning in chaos, and it will keep spinning. That has never been in your hands. But your decision, how you respond, what you choose to focus on, where you place your energy today, that is always in your hands. That is where your peace begins. That is where your power lives. Not in controlling the outcome, in choosing your response to whatever comes. Life is a book. Some chapters are easy to read. You fly through them. You want more. You don't want them to end. And some chapters are hard to put down for a very different reason. Because they're painful. because they're confusing, because you can't yet see how this part connects to what comes next. But all of it is part of your story. The good, the bad, the ugly, the chapters where you lost something or someone you couldn't imagine living without. The chapters where you made a choice you'd give anything to undo. The quiet chapters that felt like nothing was happening, but were actually where the most important shifts were taking root. You don't get to rewind. You don't get to pause. You don't get to skip the hard chapters and arrive only at the good ones. And here's what years of studying human psychology and watching people move through the hardest experiences of their lives has taught me. The people who come through the hard chapters strongest are not the ones who avoided the pain. They're the ones who stayed present inside it, who said, "This chapter is part of my story too, and I will not let it be the end of it." You can't skip parts of it, but you can decide how you meet them. All you truly have is now. Not yesterday, it's already written. Not tomorrow, it hasn't been lived yet. Now, this moment, this breath. Mindfulness research, decades of it, across thousands of studies, confirms what contemplative traditions have known for centuries. The present moment is the only place where change is actually possible. It is the only place where your choices have any real weight. So whatever you're feeling right now, whatever storm you're walking through, whatever chapter feels impossible to sit inside, remember this. This too shall pass. Not because the hard things don't matter, but because nothing stays the same. Not the grief, not the fear, not the uncertainty, and not the joy either, which is why presence matters in the good chapters just as much as the hard ones. This too is part of your story, and you are still writing it. You are never still. You are either moving forward or sideways, but you are always moving. Every day you wake up is a gift. Every sunrise is a new beginning. Every breath you take is a step, however small, however unsteady, in the direction of the life you are building. So here is what I want to leave you with today. Not a complicated system, not a 10-step plan, just this. All you have to do is decide what to do with the time you have left. Set your intention. Release what is not yours to carry. Stay present inside the chapter you're in, even the hard ones, and keep moving. That is enough. You are enough. And this moment, right now, is where your next chapter begins. I hope that helped. If it did, subscribe. I'm here every week with something that I hope makes the week a little clearer, a little lighter, a little more yours. And if this one resonated, the next video goes deeper into what actually happens in your brain when you stop trying to control what you can't, and why that release is not giving up. It's the beginning of real strength. See you next week.